Hello, so this is my final project for the summer GIS course. So the project was not always, I changed my project midway through. So the project goal initially was to analyze impervious surfaces in coastal New Hampshire, and then I would link it to Census Bureau population data. However, there were problems that emerged, such as the difficulty with finding suitable population data. It's a lot harder than you might think to find county level population data from the Census Bureau. Additionally, impervious surface data, depending on the year, either came in raster or vector format. And as you can see here on the left, this is what the raster format looked like after downloading, and it came with this just ugly border, and I just didn't like it. And so I tried to transfer the raster into vector, but I found technical difficulties, so I ended up scrapping the project and uh, drastically changing what I ended up doing. So I still did end up using some of the impervious surface data because there was data from 1990, 2000, 2005, 2010, 2015, and I used 2015 because it came in vector format, which I liked instead of the other ones coming in raster. And so I decided to overlap the impervious surface data with data, and all this came from Granite, which is the New Hampshire state database for GIS data. I download it for free. I decided to overlap it with data on groundwater rise and sea level rise as a result of our changing climate. And so the impervious surface data just served as an indicator of where human habitation is and how it'd be impacted. So as you can see here, this is Portsmouth without any sea level rise. And so I put it at 124,000 scale, just because if I put it at, say, 1/200,000 scale, it'd be really hard to tell what exactly is going on. You wouldn't be able to tell. You wouldn't be zoomed in to see the fine details. So when you go to Portsmouth at 2 feet of sea level rise, because the sea level rise data came in 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, and 8 feet intervals, and it also came with a second format which shows what a flooding event would look like. And I'll show that in just a minute. So as you can see, there's a little bit of blue there, a little bit of blue there, a little bit of blue there that shows the 2 feet of sea level rise, which might look at and not think it's a big deal, but then see what it looked like with flooding and see all this flooded, flooded, and flooding events would become more common with the changing climate. So it would be really concerning to have frequent events where all these businesses in here are getting impacted and are experiencing flooding events. So this is what Portsmouth would look like with 8 feet of sea level rise. As you can see, it's not too dissimilar from what it looked like with 2 feet of sea level rise and and when there was flooding. And this is just 8 feet normally what it would look like. And this is 8 feet with the flooding. As you can see, the entire downtown core here is either underwater or it's completely surrounded by water. And so there's the issue of, if this became reality, if this happened, all of this downtown core, after constant flooding like this, it would be, well, inhabitable. You wouldn't be able to live here anymore. You wouldn't be able to work here anymore. So people would have to move out from this thriving, bustling downtown core, which is really desirable. And of course, where do they go? Where do they go? And so this is 2 feet of groundwater rise in coastal New Hampshire. And this would happen because of the sea level rise. It would force the groundwater table a little bit further inland up. So, according to a journal article that I found, the groundwater would rise. So, wetlands such as marshes, the depth of the water would increase, or even the size of these marshes would increase. So, there would be marshes where communities have lived for years and years that would suddenly just increase and may flood some places. So there would be need to be planning for that a little bit further inland too. And so this is what it would. These are the areas that would be impacted if there was 8 feet of rise due to a rising sea level. There's a lot more area impacted, and this is just a little small section of New England, and this would be happening elsewhere in America and the world. So the moral of the story is climate change is going to drastically impact coastal communities, and this is only just a small example because climate change will impact more than just coastal communities because we've seen the heat waves that have been happening in the Southwest and in the Pacific Northwest. It killed people in the Pacific Northwest because there's a lot of people who lack air conditioning up there, and the sea life up there died en masse because they're just simply not used to such heat. And we've also seen droughts occurring in the West, wildfires occurring in the West, more intense storms occurring everywhere. And so the moral of the story is we need to do what we need to do to get this problem under control because this project was only just a small example of how it would really screw up the Portsmouth area, but also really impact and drastically alter the lives of people elsewhere in the world. So, thank you for watching.